Welcome back in, everyone. Domestic violence costs the U.S. an estimated $5 to $10 billion per year, but those close to the issue know the loss is far greater than money can measure.
In the first of a two-part special assignment called Shattered Lives, News Center 11's Kate Gibson takes a look at the domestic abuse problem here in East Mississippi and how it destroys so many lives in this special assignment.
He never hit me. He only yelled and called me names.
Some have bruises and scars you can see, and some don't, but they're there just the same.
I tried to leave, but he would always somehow stop me.
An estimated 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will experience domestic abuse at some point in their lives.
We leave everything familiar behind, all our hopes, dreams, and plans.
These are words from letters written by real victims.
I let him tell me every day, I love you, but you aren't a good mother. You're selfish.
Injuries inflicted by a spouse or partner are the most common reason for a woman to have to visit the emergency room. That's more than car accidents, muggings and rapes combined. Shocking as that might be to most people, it comes as no surprise to Leslie Payne, who's been running Care Lodge for more than 20 years.
Our society as a whole is addicted to violence.
Care Lodge is a non-profit agency which helps victims of abuse through emotional support, legal advice and, most of all, a shelter for those fleeing violence, often with their children.
When you look at 1 in 4 families being affected by domestic violence, 1 in 3 teenage relationships may be violent. We are a community that is suffering from domestic violence.
It's a story all too familiar to law enforcement.
Many of the murders that we see in our community are directly related to domestic violence.
The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department responds to multiple domestic violence-related calls a week. The offender is often arrested, but not always. Even if they are, sometimes suspects post bond and are released from jail. For a victim trying to stay safe, this can be traumatic and dangerous because securing an order of protection through the court system can take time. The whole system can be confusing and overwhelming at a time in a person's life when they're already struggling. That's where Care Lodge comes in.
We see thousands of people from a 9-county service area of East Mississippi all year long, and different people, men, women, children, people petitioning for protection against someone who they thought loved them but is in fact treating them in very disrespectful and very threatening ways.
Law enforcement says there's only so much they can do in the fight against domestic violence.
Laws can't solve all of our problems. People have to take it upon themselves to seek help and to try to act on these issues early.
For those in abusive situations, there is hope, but it's often a long road.
We pull ourselves up with the help of Care Lodge and our own sheer willpower.
I finally left. I will survive.
I will learn to trust again, to care, to love.
Kate Gibson, News Center 11.
Part 2 of Kate's special assignment airs tomorrow at 6 and 10. She'll be looking at how domestic abuse shapes young lives. You can also check out her story on our website.
And if you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, you can call the Care Lodge at 601-693-HOPE. Welcome back in, everyone. How young is too young to be a victim of domestic violence? Well, there's been a disturbing rise in the number of teens asking for help from East Mississippi's support services. In the second of a two-part series, Shattered Lives, News Center 11's Kate Gibson takes a look at how abuse is shaping young people and if the cycle can be broken.
Teens today face a lot of challenges most adults didn't have growing up. Pressure to look good on social media, online bullying and being connected to classmates 24 hours a day. Experts say it could be partly to blame for a worrying spike in the number of young people in abusive relationships.
Things are looking a lot different than they used to. Dating violence maybe started and ended at school, and then when you went home, you had a break of peace. Well, now with Snapchat and Instagram, people are video recording things and sharing it like wildfire all over the internet and using it as blackmail.
An anonymous survey revealed 1 in 3 teens are victims of dating violence. 1 in 10 high school students is physically abused by their partner, and only 30% of them spoke up about what was happening. But it's not only physical abuse that leaves scars.
A lot of what we see now, with the kids especially, is the verbal and emotional abuse.
And anyone can be a victim.
We're seeing more and more young men coming forward going, you know, my girlfriend does that. My girlfriend manipulates me. My girlfriend isolates me from my friends. I think the youth have to be extremely careful because they're so vulnerable at that age.
Care Lodge is a domestic violence shelter, but it also offers other services to victims. Community coordinator Sarah Smith has been working with other agencies in Mississippi to teach high school kids about healthy relationships.
This one's big too. Violence usually shows up as early as 12 years old, which is 6th grade. How many of you were dating in 6th grade? Don't be shy.
We all get together and present this huge workshop to try to get those seeds planted, those seeds of hope, and let people know that they're not alone, and that if they're ever in a situation, that don't ever be afraid to reach out for help, because it's not a good thing, and it's not something that silence makes better. It makes it worse.
Experts say in order to end teen dating violence, young people need to know they'll be listened to and believed.
If a 15-year-old calls us, we're not going to turn around and call their mom. It's going to remain confidential with us.
I have a lot of adults that say that teenagers don't understand what love is, but I think we need to remember when we were that age that those relationships were real to us, those feelings were very real to us, and we need to be a little bit more sensitive when we're talking to our kids about it.
Kate Gibson, News Centre 11.
If you have or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, you can call Care Lodge at 601-693-HOPE. If you want to hear more about the Care Lodge's work, you can watch this week's On the Record. It airs on WTOK Sunday at 5:30.